before we get started? No, we're all good? Can I get a few more yeses that you can hear my voice? And I'm loud enough? Okay. That's good. I got a couple more. Okay. So let's actually let's start with the rehab. The rehab is coming to us from Ron. Ron, you're with us? Yes, I can see your name there. Can you hear me? Let him type, and I'm gonna actually forward the email. Hold on. We can make do. Oh, barely. Technical difficulties. Can you guys? Let me see if I can fix that. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that louder. Can you guys hear me better now? Okay, am I too loud or is that good? The volume's good. Better? Okay. Good. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so Ron's got a property that he's looking at, and he's interested in wholesaling. So anybody who's interested in this property will, when the call is over, will exchange email addresses. But right now, please don't pop up any email addresses because this is being recorded. Okay. So let's look at this deal. So actually, let me see if I can do something here. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get. Ron, do you see a mic on your computer on the screen? I'll try something here. There we go. Hold on 1 sec. All right. You don't see a microphone? Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this working. Hold on. Ron, are you on your phone by chance, or are you at a computer? Okay, I've enabled your microphone. Can you speak?
Can you hear me?
Speaking now?
Hi.
There you go. Can you guys hear him? Yes? That's great. Why can't I hear him? Hold on 1 sec. Hold on 1 sec, Ron.
That's not bad. That's bad. I don't know what's happening.
See another one, no? That's all good. Okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Sam?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Wow, that's great. Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So let me bring up the deal, and then you can talk about it, and we can ask you some questions. Okay?
Sounds fair.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, here we go. One, two. This doesn't want to come up. I have it in my email, but the image itself, maybe it's loading. I don't know what's Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can make that bigger though. That's not very big. That's crappy. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. I have the numbers in front of me. Let's do that. So, let me move this over here. Okay. So we have a property here. It's a rehab. Its retail purchase price is 394,400. Purchase closing costs are estimated at 6,000. So just real quick, um, these numbers that I see here, they've been verified or vetted by someone else. Is that right, Ron?
I see two of my partners.
Okay.
Two partners came across this property. So they're sitting with me right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to Marcus, and Marcus will answer well, the previous questions a little bit more in more detail than I can.
We're trying to your voice is a little bit echoey. I don't know why. Do you want to? I don't know what's causing it. We're having a little bit hard time hearing you. I don't know what you can do.
Maybe I have it up too loud. Is that any better?
It's a little bit better. Is it the distance? Is that what you're adjusting?
Could be. I'm just turning down my volume and stuff too. How about that?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. There's an echo in it. I don't know why.
Could be the room I'm in.
You know what? It might be me. Hold on. You just.
Yeah, you know what? I hear me in the background from you. Okay. So, hi everybody. My name is Ron Snoxel-Scott. I have two members with me that's a part of my power team. And what they do is they go out on the hunt looking for rehabs and wholesale opportunities. And they brought this property to my attention, and I think it's a pretty good deal. However, I'm going to let Marcus and Megan take over and answer any questions that anybody has, as they're the ones that have been to the property and has been dealing with the seller at this point in time. Make sense?
Okay, why don't we do this? Yeah, it's a little bit still echoey. I'm gonna go through the property numbers, and then if that's okay, I can ask the folks that you're with some questions. Is that okay? Why don't we do it that way?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, so we have a purchase price here. Let me do something. Okay, why don't we do it this way? Okay, here we go. Okay, so purchase price is. I'm just gonna mute you for 1 second, okay? It's just getting a little feedback. Okay, here we go. Oh, that didn't mute. 1 second. There we go. All right, so let me run through the numbers here. Okay, so we have a purchase price of 394,400. Okay, we have closing costs 6,000 for closing costs. So the total is going to be 404, 400 for the purchase. Okay, so let's just put a little asterisk there. Here, I'm just going to change it. I'm just going to do something real quick. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to make the assumption that we're putting 20% down. So you're looking at about 80K there. Okay. 80,000. Okay, so for the first investment. Okay, let's look at now the repairs. So repairs, you're looking at, for repairs, we're looking at 34,600. So the first question I'm going to have, 34,600. Did that number get vetted by your contractor? Here, let me unmute you, and you can share that with me or us. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so my partner Mark is experienced in contractor, general contracting, and he came up with this number from his own experience. Do you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I did hear that. So you had a contractor walk through the house, experienced contractor walk through the house, and that's the number he gave you, 34,600.
Right. Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. And Ron, what's the upper end of that? Is there any what's he anticipating the slip's going to be on that possible range? Is he committed to the 34,600? Is that something that he feels confident he can fulfill?
Yes.
Oh yes, okay. So I'm gonna go a step further. Would the contractor be willing to commit to that 34,600, and any dollar over, he would eat the cost on it? Is he that confident?
Yeah, but if you wholesale it, you're asking if you're going.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
Someone buys it. Right. If someone buys it, are we going, and he goes up over and above? Well, maybe that would depend on. Yeah, that would depend on how much this is a wholesale situation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, right? Is if you have some experienced, contractor who's walked through the house and wants the work. Obviously, he wants the work, right? If it was me taking the property, which obviously I'm not allowed to do business with you guys directly, at least for the foreseeable future. I would use your guy. Like if you told me that this guy's committed to it, we'd meet and stuff, we'd talk, we'd vet the deal. But even in the wholesale deal, unless I had my own guy, you have a guy that's committed to 34,600. And this is it, right, Ron? If the guy wants some sort of other number that he wants to commit to, that's fine. I'm just looking at the bottom line of profitability, and right now you're sitting at a profit of about 50,000, which is I'm looking at the deal and that looks great. It looks like we're making over 25 on it, which is great, which is like a minimum. So there's room there, but we're trying to nail down as much as we can as we went through the class. So how committed do you think this individual is to that price? Is he with you there, or she with you there?
Yeah, they're here. Yes, and it's actually the rehab cost is actually 37,600. 37,000, not 34.
Okay, so 37. Okay, no worries. So let's just put it. Okay, so 37. Why don't we just? So it's 37 the committed cost that he.
It's going to be in between 34,000 and 37,000.
Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's say I'm going to pretend I'm the investor. Okay, that you're talking to me. I'd be willing to give this guy 37,000 if he can commit to 37,000. If he comes under, he can keep the money. Would he commit to 37,000, and any dollar over and above 37,000 would he eat the cost?
So Marcus, what he's saying right now, he went through the property and he did the appraisal and how much it would take to renovate this property. Now, Marcus isn't going to be the one, the contractor that is actually going to do.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's an estimate. Okay. Give me 1 second. So folks, let me just, I'm going to repeat what Ron's saying here because I can see that it's a little bit tough to hear what he's saying, okay? So, give me 1 second. Okay. So, I've muted Ron. I know folks it's tough to hear. So what Ron's saying is that they've had somebody walk through the house. The range is between 34 and 37 on the high side. The individual that walked through the house he's not the one doing the rehab, but based on his experience as a contractor, he believes that the property would be in a retail state if invested $37,000 in repairs. That's what Ron's sharing with us. So $37,000. We'd still want, I guess, it depends on the rehab and what you're, the wholesale, which we'll get to, the wholesale part of this. But this is, these are the questions you ask, right? So they're not going to be doing the rehab, or their guy is not going to be doing the rehab. She won't be completing the rehab, which is fine. The $37,000, the rehab, it would have to be, somebody from our own team would have to go through that house and ensure that that the number comes in around the same number, which shouldn't be a problem. Now that really depends on how well of a deal you think, how good of a deal it is, and what the cost of that wholesale is, and we're going to get to that. Ron's going to at the end of this session here, as we go through this, we're going to ask the question, and Ron's going to share with us what are you looking for a wholesale deal, like how much do you want for the cost of the wholesale. So what we're going to do now is, so 37 is the rehab, so that's the rehab, and then we have carrying costs is going to be, so I'm just going to put slash 3,000, and we're going to go times 3. So that's going to be $9,000, okay? So 9,000, right? It's going to be the total, estimate 3 months, okay? And again, 3 months, pretty safe to do that unless the house is it has serious problems. You can pretty much rehab anything in 90 days. 90 days sounds fair to me and sounds right. You could probably do it a little bit sooner, but let's say 90 days. Okay. And at any time, folks, if you have any questions, just please type them in and I'll answer them as I see them, okay? Then we have the after repair value. So the after repair value, the ARV on this property is 520, okay? 520K, okay? Now I'm going to bring Ron on just to verify ask some questions about that. Okay. So Ron, the 520K, is that vetted by your realtor?
Yes, like in Compton area, yes.
Okay, good. So how confident are you on that price? Would you feel confident enough to say that, and this is the question I ask, and it's totally up, please answer it the way you want to. The 520K, how confident are you confident enough to say that 520, you are sure that you get 520, that every dollar below 520, that'll cut into your own commission? And are you that confident? Because if you're not, and I totally understand, if that's the top value, that I totally understand that. What we like to do with our realtors is actually give them a larger commission to ensure that their time and their effort to get that retail price is met. But we ask our realtor to, commit to that price, whatever price they give us, and any dollar less than that comes out of their end of the commission. So do you want to speak to that? And please, just whatever your feeling is on that price. I know that's based on comparables, but how confident are you with that price?
I'm very confident. That's the hardest part of it. The original idea for us was very different than the house ourselves. These numbers are coming from our this is what we were going to do. And
sorry, folks, we're having a real hard time hearing that. I'm sorry, my apologies. I can't. Are you speaking to us? I can't. Or is that side conversation? I can't. Okay, can you get a little bit louder? Sorry about that.
Sorry, Sam. My name is Marcus, and I've been living houses that for
okay, hold on 1 sec. Hold on. It's not coming through. You know what? Let me do this. Ron, yes. Give me 1 sec. Hold on 1 second, my friend. Hold on, folks. I'm gonna fix this. Hold on. Okay. So the question we were asking, we're asking about your real estate agent was with you, yes?
No, she couldn't make it tonight.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So maybe this is a tougher question for anybody to answer. It'd be a question directly for her or him. It's a her, is that right?
My real estate agent, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Wanda. So we'd have to ask her. But for now, we can verify that the comparables in the area came in at 520, correct?
I'm gonna hand you over to Marcus.
Okay.
Marcus and Megan, like I said, they are more of the hands-on on this property.
Okay.
So they did all the research.
Okay, great,
So
great.
Marcus, you want to speak? Yeah. So here's Marcus.
How you doing, Marcus?
Thanks for everybody's patience.
Hey, no worries.
Okay. So this little background on the deal. This is something that we're gonna flip ourselves.
Okay.
And we're working on another project in Peterborough, and it just doesn't work out for us.
Okay.
This property is in Burlington.
Okay.
My team's in Oshawa.
Okay.
That's an hour drive away. So when we went through the property, we was like, damn, this is a really good deal. Let's see if we can work it out. As it turns out, it makes it better wholesale. I might as well just wholesale it to someone else. So these numbers are based on what we really feel that would have invested in.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
we did have a real estate agent in the area.
Okay.
Because we like to use the real estate agents in the location.
Sure. Sure.
So we got all the comps that we have are over and above. So I'm kind of on the downside
Okay.
of the because we'd like to do a quick sale.
Sure.
So this isn't our first rodeo.
Okay.
So we'd like to come in a little bit under market, right? And then hopefully go up from there.
Okay. Do you know what that top number was? Just by chance, do you know what the top number was?
Yes. 1 second. Well, 595 was one of the top ones, but that's a 4-bedroom. This one's a 3.
Okay.
And again, the lowest one, and these are prices that sold this year.
Okay.
The lowest one that's somewhat comparable is 519.9.
Oh, I
That's
see.
what we did for the 520. We just took the lowest one.
Okay. Okay. So ARV 520. We have real estate fees are going to be $26K for your realtor, real estate agent, and we have 494 for total 494.
7 minor or 7?
Wait a minute. Let me go back. Okay, so what I'm looking at here says after repair value is 520 based on your comparables. You took the lowest one. Okay, that's good. Okay, so the real estate agent and addition on all costs included 534. That should be 37 and 9. So let's just give me 1 second. I'm just going to do the math on that. Let's just go back for a second. Okay, so our total costs were these. We had purchase price was we're going to say 404 just because the closing costs. Let's call that easier to do it that way. So 404 is purchase. We have 37K for repairs.
Which is top end.
Yeah, top end. Okay, yeah. And we have 9,000 for carrying. Okay, carrying costs. So when we add these together, we have 446. Okay, and then we have 446K. The last additional cost is going to be the realtor. I'm missing a cost here because I'm looking here. What's that?
And transfer?
Let's see here. Yeah, that would be in closing costs. All selling closing costs right now is listed as 0. So I'm assuming because when I add these numbers up, 446 plus, if I even add the realtor who's going to charge 26K, that's still going to only give me 472K. Okay, so 472K. I'm assuming that if I'm looking at it, because it says 594 is the total, the difference is the closing cost. Is that right?
Sorry.
So we're just basically working the numbers.
Yeah, we're going with high end. So we have purchase price 400,400. That's including the purchase closing costs. We have 37,000 for the rehab, 9,000 for the carrying, which is 3,000 per month, right?
Right.
Let's go 90 days. Then we have those together. That gives us 446K. 446K, that's right. And then I see listed here real estate agent fees, 26K. So that's going to put me at 472. And I have your number on your sheet says 294 for the total. So is that the closing cost, 20 grand?
I'm just trying to catch up with you.
Sure.
20.
I see total at the when I look at financial summary for Flipper. It says total is 494.
Oh, and you're getting 472.
Well, I'm seeing 472, which really, when you think about it, makes more sense if I'm making 50 grand on this property sold at 520. So maybe that 494 was just an error, I guess.
Possibly, but this is it all updates. The spreadsheet that I use all updates. So, when I have it, okay, so my numbers are this.
Okay.
394 is the purchase price.
Sure.
6,000 closing costs.
Yep.
Rehab cost of 34,600.
Yep.
Monthly holding is 3,000 a month.
Yep.
Which is 6.
Yep.
90-day hold.
Yep.
Which brings it up to 9,000.
Okay.
So the after repair value is 520.
Right.
And the closing of the real estate fees are 26,000.
Yep.
Which gives you the 50,000.
Which because we went to 37,000 and pop in. This is why it's 47.2.
Okay.
But it's still your
yeah.
So
25,000.
So when I add those numbers up, though, you see what's on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 472 with the 37, 472 with the 37. So 26,000 is the real estate agent fees, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so other than land transfer is not it's not the seller's problem. It's the buyer's problem, right? It doesn't have to be, obviously. It could be, anybody could pay it. But, is it 26,000? What about legal? Is there maybe, and I don't know if you put that number in. I'm not saying that the number is there or should be there. I'm just saying the legal would be, if it's a straight sale, a couple thousand.
Right, so that's the closing costs. That's included the closing costs, 6,000.
That's the initial purchase. Is that the initial?
The sell?
Yeah, the sell.
Right. Yeah, there's probably a couple grand there too. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just add 2 more grand. Let's make it 474. So we see 472. Let's make it 474. So I'm just gonna go back to, I'm gonna get a new whiteboard, everybody. So let's do this. Let's share. Oops. Whiteboard. Okay, so the new cost is 474. That's all in. Okay, that's all in, and we bumped it up 3 grand for the 2,400 bucks just for the slippage in the rehab. So 474K. We sell it for 520 on the low end for a quick sale, and that leaves us 46K. Does everybody see that? Any questions about that? How long are the homes for sale in that area? Days on market? Is that part of the 3-month carrying cost? So that's a great question about what's the average listing days on that in that area? Do you know?
So in that situation, we can get the real estate agent to pull up.
Yeah. Okay.
Those numbers if people are interested.
Yeah.
At this point, we don't have those numbers.
No worries.
We don't have that answer at this point in time, but that seriously is a quick phone call I can have.
Excellent. It's a good question. Now, 46K, but we have to take one more cost, and that's the cost of you guys finding the deal, which you need to be paid for. What are you guys looking for a wholesale cost?
The 10,000.
10K. So if we minus 10K from this, okay, now we're sitting at 36K. Okay? All right. Would you agree with that? Would you guys folks agree with that? Marcus and Megan and Ron? Okay. So 36K. Okay. So let's leave it there for a second. Folks, any questions about this deal? You're looking at about 35 to 40K, depending on that rehab, right? And any additional cost. Any questions about this? The other thing, no, okay. Anybody else? The question I have is, at the end of the day, I would say, okay, so as an investor, I'm going to look and I'm going to say, 36K. There's nothing wrong with 36K. I'm going to ask, how much am I going to put up? And the other question I have is if I could inquire about the situation of the seller. How motivated is the seller? What's the seller's situation from what you know?
So, in terms of the seller, they're very, she wants to get this deal done.
Okay.
However, she's got a timeline, and it is tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Mona, the 10K, just give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec. Sorry about that. Mona, the 10K is the wholesale fee. Everybody understand? They're asking for 10K for the wholesale fee, for the deal itself, right? Now we've talked about this, folks. We talked about this. They're not too far off from what we talk about, which is, you should be, if you're gonna ask for 10K, you should make, the person that you give the wholesale deal should make roughly, 3 to 4 times what you're making, what the end user is making. So 10K to, and you're gonna make 36K to 40K is in line. That's reasonable. Going back to the seller, you said the seller has a timeline of tomorrow. What happens if she doesn't sell tomorrow?
So if she doesn't sell tomorrow, the bank or the second mortgage will take over.
Default. She's in default.
Yeah.
How far behind is she?
Hi, sorry, it's Megan. Currently, she has 2 mortgages on the property.
Okay.
The first mortgage is $300,000.
Okay.
And the second mortgage is $190,000.
And how far behind is she on that 190? If that's the problem.
She said with the fees of the first mortgage is $242 plus the fees. She's expecting if this does go to default. 190 is where she's at currently.
I understand. Okay, so Megan, I don't know if you know the answer to these questions. I'll ask anyways. The 190K. How many payments does she need to come up with? How does she get it back or out of default? What does she owe to get it out of default? Because I assume the first mortgage has been paid. The second mortgage is what's in default, correct?
She owns both mortgages.
Yeah, no, it's
Both mortgages are in default.
Yeah, she's actually selling another home.
Okay.
To pay that back.
Okay, so do you know how much does she have to pay by, let's assume it's tomorrow, right? How much would she have to pay tomorrow to get this out of default? How much is she behind? Do you know?
I would think 490. That's the numbers we got from her.
No, my apologies. I'm not saying this right. I'm sorry. How many monthly payments is she behind? Because if you're telling me that tomorrow goes into default, from what you're telling me, it means the institution in the second mortgage is saying, look, you need to come up with this amount of money or we're going to trigger a default. So is there an amount of money that she told you, like if I come up with, 15 or 20,000, I'm at a default? Do you have a number like that?
No.
Okay.
just an additional detail. She had the home tenanted at one point.
Okay.
The tenant didn't pay rent. So there was that few months in a total of $16,000. That's how she fell behind. So I think that's where she's at least a few months behind on payments.
Okay. And how firm? My apologies, Megan. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say that's total of the tenants, rental income not coming in from the tenants.
Okay, and is there any possibility that if the bank knew that she was going to sell in 90 days and they had an investor come in, is there any wiggle room there? Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke with her tonight and she said yes.
Okay, so okay, so this is what I suggest. Even if you guys decide to do this, and you guys could do this yourself. And folks, obviously you've heard me talk about this. But if you went back to them and talked to the institution on her behalf and said, look, we're going to come in and we're going to rehab this property and we're going to sell it. And when we sell it, we're going to pay out the mortgage, and whatever we make, we make. The reason I'm looking at this as an option, basically it's hold until sold. The strategy is 3-month closing. You'd probably do 6-month closing just to be safe. But what you do is you go into the house and you rehab the house, and all you pay is for the rehab. You don't have to purchase the house. And the agreement allows you to do either a double close, or you could structure where in the sale you get paid so much money. But what this allows you as the investor to do is to rehab it just for the rehab cost. Like just rehab costs, and letting the institution know this is what you're doing on behalf of the person that's there. Your intention is to rehab it, sell it for retail, and pay them out. Would they be willing to, or what would need to happen for them to be okay with this option? Now they might say to you, the institution might say to you, well, we're uncomfortable with that. She needs to come up with, the difference. Find out what that number is and say, look, and work on an arrangement there. And just include that as part of your investment in the property. The reason this option is more viable for most is you don't have to put up the purchase price, the deposit for the purchase price to take possession of the property. So that might be an option. That would be the option, actually. I tell any student that pushed this deal to me and said, Sam, what do you think? I would say, can we do this instead? So I don't know if that's something that's possible for you guys or anybody else that I'm talking to. I mean, they can wholesale it to you, and you could approach this, but I would probably do something like that as a solution for her and the institution, so everyone, so the investment for you is minimal as the investor, right? It's minimal because you're not putting that deposit down. You're literally coming in, rehabbing the property, 34, call it 40 grand. Come in with 40 grand, you rehab the property. And then at that point, you can purchase it for an agreed upon price and turn around and flip it immediately, but it's in a retail state.
Sam, I have a question.
Sure.
Marcus again. Does this mean we could actually talk to the second mortgage?
Yes. Yes.
The record without her?
Yeah, well, no, you can't do that. You got to get permission from her. So she's...
So I would go in with her and say, this is what I do.
Yeah, there's a legal document that you can sign that basically gives you the right to speak on it, speak and ask these questions, or you can go in with her. But remember this, and this is important. Those guys don't want to trigger a default, because for them it's a much more expensive, it's more expensive for them, and then there's the liability of the property for them. So for them, typically they're going to be open to a discussion. So and this is what you do. You walk in and you ask them, this is what we'd like to do to help everybody, including ourselves. Tell them that you're making money. There's nothing wrong with you making money in this deal, and let them know, what do we need, what do you need to get on board with this? How much, is there an amount of money that needs to be brought up to date? Because even if you put up that amount of money to get that mortgage back into, out of foreclosure, you can still agree upon you're going to agree upon the price and have a purchase price and an offer to purchase contract before you do that. And that's going to be factored into your offer to purchase. So it's not like you'll lose that money. So if she said, I need, 15 grand to bring up the mortgage, right? And the lenders, typically that's what they're looking for. The lenders will take the money. It won't be in foreclosure anymore. That 26,000, 15,000, whatever you put in, that's going to go, right off the price of whatever you agree with her, right? And the big thing for you and for the lenders, for the seller, is there's no foreclosure. You're stopping the foreclosure, and the second mortgage, actually, if you're in second position,
unless the first one is actually making the foreclosure happen, second position to trigger the foreclosure, they need cooperation from the first mortgage, and maybe they have that at this point. I don't know, but it's in any ways, first and second mortgage. None of them want the default. None of them want it. So if you can talk to them and try to work out an arrangement, and this is why you deserve to get paid on this deal, is you're creating a solution for a lot of people, right? The lenders and the seller. You possibly could get actually a better deal on the property, because she's going to lose the house no matter what. And you got to be honest with her and say, look, I can't stop you from losing your house, but I can stop that foreclosure from going on your record. And if the lenders are open to it, which typically they are, you just got to ask them, what do you need to make this right? Like how much money do you need to make this right? Because this is my intention, to come into this property, fix it up, and flip it. So what do you guys need to make this right? How much is she behind? And typically they'll just tell you straight up, this is what we're looking for. Because for them, that's a much cleaner process, and they're more likely to move forward with that than triggering the whole power of sale, move on their part. That's a more expensive proposition for them.
I can definitely look into that.
Come up with answers.
Yeah. Any questions, anybody? Let's see. How long did it take to get this done to this point? Good question. How long from the point you found the property to this point? How long did that take you? A week. Okay, a week. And how was this alerted to you? Was that a lead through a realtor or a friend or somebody that she was in foreclosure?
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what we do. We sign. Those signs.
Oh, good. Excellent. Bandit signs.
Right.
Excellent. Good stuff. So they used a bandit sign, folks, and that's excellent. That's part of your feeder, right? It's no effort. Once it's up, people reach out to you, and this person clearly is jammed up and needs help. So when a bandit sign is just those signs that are on I want to say telephone poles, but on poles, or you'll see them. They'll see them.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, you'll see these signs anywhere you see signs, bandit signs, which are using a big sign or just a little bandit sign.
Oh no, they're signs.
Yeah.
They're lawn signs.
Oh, lawn signs. Okay, so there you go. So lawn signs, that's pretty cool. So lawn signs, and I'm sure you got permission to do that from the
right. Yes, I'll say yes to that.
All right. So anyways, this is an excellent strategy because it's low effort, high yield. Even if you get a few calls a year from one of those signs, it's well worth the investment. So you just got to make sure your municipality and/or permission from whatever you need to make those things, so you don't run into issues later. But excellent job creating that lead. Okay, Sam, the structure you mentioned, would that be wholesale agreement with the seller only, and would they pay the bank the amount needed to stop the foreclosure? So Lee, that really is a question of, how you structure it is basically based on, after you understand the problem from each party. We understand the seller's problem. They're going to go into foreclosure. The lenders need to be involved in. And we need to understand how to solve their problem, right? What is it that you need to stop the foreclosure from happening? Defer it is really, we're deferring and hopefully stopping it because we're going to flip the property. At that point, Lee, you could structure the contracts and agreements to fulfill the commitment of everybody, including yourself. Now, in this situation, you could still wholesale this deal. And you could still wholesale this deal. And if you guys went through all that work, to put that deal together, you could wholesale it for more money because you're basically putting down the groundwork. You basically are wholesaling a pre-foreclosure deal. You've sorted it out, you put everything together, and now that you're willing to pass it on to someone else, and in that case, I really believe you can get a better deal on the house. And just to double check, the purchase price of $394, is that what she owes?
She owes $490.
She owes $490. So the difference, she's got to pay that. She knows that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why she has another
more higher scale property.
Okay.
He's also, which is listed.
Okay.
But he also needs to sell. But then again, that's not her primary residence. So altogether, she has 3 properties and she's selling 2.
Okay, and the third one is her primary residence. Is that right?
The third one is her primary residence.
Okay.
So there's also an opportunity for an investor to participate with us in a second property with the same seller.
I would probably, in that case, I would wheel the second property into the deal because she's short $100,000. She's short 100. I'd wheel it in. I'd wheel the second property into the deal, and you could probably, yeah, there's a lot of things you could do by wheeling that second property, and you could get.
We do need investors.
That's okay. That's okay. That's a different discussion, right? So what you would do, so let's do this, folks. We're gonna revisit this, okay? So you guys go do what you can do, and see what you can work out. Then, if you guys would like, you can after you've structured it, and Ron, we can talk about this further this week. We can see what can be put together, and we can represent the deal if you still wish to the group, and what you can give the options of. Look, if you come in as a money investor, you get 10%. If you come in with a full partner, you get 15 or 20 or 30, whatever it is. That's, I think, would be a better situation. Maybe presentation to the group for investors wise. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's fantastic.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely like to keep in contact with you.
Yeah. We can do that. No problem, my friend. No problem. Okay, folks, any questions about this deal? It looks like we're going to present the deal next week, and we'll continue to follow up on this deal.
Next Tuesday, our real estate agent, Rhonda, she'll be available to participate.
Excellent. That's great. Okay.
We'll get some comparables and stuff from both properties.
Great. The more info, the better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Any questions? Any questions about this deal before we move on? No? Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, Ron, Megan, and Marcus, I'm gonna take you guys off the phone and speakerphone and stuff like that. And what we'll do is I'm going to continue with another deal. Okay. But Ron, you can reach out. We'll reach out. We'll talk some more during the week. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Nice to meet you, Marcus and Megan.
Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, folks. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a second deal before we end the day. I want to talk about another deal. This one, I'm going to just rip out the name. Okay. So this one, Sarah, you there? This is your deal that you sent me, right? You still there? Maybe not. Okay. So just want to double check here. Give me 1 second. Okay, was Sarah? Looks like she maybe was on the momentum. Okay, so let's do this. Let me bring up this property. Anyways, we'll look at it real quick, and then I'll follow up with her directly. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. So let me share my screen. Let's share. So let's do this. Show why different. Bring that up. Maybe that's the deal. We'll go back here and share the screen. Okay, folks, we're going to look at a deal real quick for the last few minutes. Sarah's not on the call, so I'll spend a little bit of time on it. Where she had to get off. So, anyways, off the call. Okay, so everyone sees this property, yes? Okay, good. So the property is 2.155, 22 units, 800 is the average unit. Rent, 211,200 is the rental income. Then we see expenses, taxes. We have electricity, sewage, other and other. Unfortunately, she's not with us, so she can't speak to those, but we'll just assume those are just ongoing costs. We have vacancies, 5% maintenance, 5% management. She had in here 5%, so I'm going to assume that she had an arrangement where 5% maybe was on site or something. That was the cost. So when we look at these costs, we see that the total net operating expense is 40.6. Total net operating income is 59.4, which is pretty good. This is not in bad shape at all. This is good. Now here's the thing. When we're dealing with 22 units, okay, first thing we got to consider is how is the lender, or what lenders we're going to use, and how are they going to view this property? Are they going to say to us the max we can get is 65? Now it was presented to me with 80 and 20, just like this, at 5% and 20% down. So let's leave it there for a second, okay? We come down here and we see that the coverage ratio is 1.14, so it's a little less than the 1.2. We see that the cash flow, cash on cash return is 3.5. We see the average profit per unit is 57 bucks. GRM is 10. Cap rate is 5.8. And we have 97. Don't worry about the unit per unit. That doesn't matter really. The average, the coverage ratio we can see is the 1.4. Now, couple challenges, right? Obviously, we're not meeting our 75 per unit. That's part of the challenge, and obviously the cash on cash is low. So looking at this property, the first thing we try to attack, right? First, obviously, we'd have to verify and see if there's any reduction or possibility here. So if we can reduce any of these, that's going to be big on our numbers. So to give you an example, if I take out this and this, for whatever reason, I come down here, all of a sudden I'm making 121 per unit, 7.4, which is still low, and the coverage ratio is 1.29, right? But I can't speak to that right now because I don't know what those costs are. What we look at, main point is we look at, can we attack the expenses, right? When we come down, then it becomes the financing. Can we attack financing? Well, if I was getting 3.95 for financing, my average profit per unit would be 124. Now let me say something to you. When I see an average per unit of 124 and I see the cash on cash is 7.3, I'm okay with this number, cash flow going down, if I can get this number up. So to give you an example, if I went 10 and 10 and I change this to 10%, that's not going to work. 5%, that's not going to work. I'd need to get it at 4%, okay? So I would probably be in this range. I could get my cash on cash up to 9.56. I'd like to see double digits. And the coverage ratio you see is 1.2, which is typically going to get us that money we need per unit. So just to back you up, just to give you an example, this used to be 20 and 0, and we had a 7.63 return. I know the cash flow was higher and it looks appealing to you, but less money in the deal, higher cash on cash return is what we're looking for with the other metrics that are met. Most specifically, after the numbers are in, we're looking at the average per unit at $75 per unit. Okay, so that's really what we're trying to get. 75 per unit. What's the max cash on cash return? How little can I put into this property because I need that return to be higher? Double digits is what we're looking for. So when we look at this, looks like, going back to where I was there, looks like if we try to put less money in, obviously there's going to be a carrying cost. It looks like the most we could go up to is about 4%, probably 3.75. Let's see. Oops, other way. 4.25. Yeah, we could go at maybe 4.3 would be the max. 4. There it is, 4.4. So I could go to 4.4, get my average, my cash on cash return up to 9.29. Still a teensy bit low. I'd like to see that a little bit higher. Typically, what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this property is when you run the numbers, and as you get into these larger properties, financing is going to definitely be something that's going to eat into the cost. But really, the challenge with this property initially is the cap rate. The initial cap rate is 5.8%, which means if I paid cash for this property, I would make 5.8% return. So you got to ask your question: is it worth putting up $2.2 million for 6%? 5.8%. I put it right here actually. My feeling is you can do better with that kind of money than 6%. I think it's a lot. It's a lot of money to be put towards a 6% yield. If you have tons and tons and tons of money, you've ran out of places to put money, I can see why someone might decide to put money here. But a 6% for the responsibility and a property, I think you want. That's why I'm saying that the minimum should be around 10% as a minimum if you're going to carry, because there's other benefits, obviously capital appreciation, and there's pay down, right? The rent, the mortgage is being paid down, right, over time, 25 or 30 years. The other challenge that I see with this, or we'd want to consider, is this might be a 65, 15 is probably what I would. 65, 25. Yeah, 65, 25, and 10 is probably more likely what you're going to get on a 22 unit building. So you're going to get 65 from the bank. It's probably going to be, could be anywhere. It could be 4.5. It's not ridiculous for commercial property, or even a little bit higher. Could be a little bit lower depending on who you're working with. Your second mortgage is going to come from the seller, and the seller should be open to that as these prices get higher and higher and larger and larger. You're going to see sellers use creative financing to get their purchase price that they want. So second mortgage, 25%. We'd ask them for maybe he to close the deal agrees to a 3% just to make sure it happens, and he gets his retail price. And 10 obviously is the deposit we have now. This is probably more, what this property would be approached at. This might be as high as 6, but let's leave it at 3. And we come down here and we see the numbers don't meet, our bare minimum requirements. So, unless we can, because this is pretty lean in the way of financing, the cost of financing is very low. When you combine these two together, the cost of financing is below 5. I mean, it's tiny. That's not necessarily the problem in here. It comes down to costs, expenses, which I can tell you that this property with 60% in profit from those income, I think is wonderful. I think that's great. The dilemma comes really from the purchase price. The purchase price, in my view, this purchase price, it's overpriced. It's overpriced for what it produces in the way of income. Does anybody have any questions? Doesn't mean the deal's dead. Doesn't mean it's nothing can be done. It's just looks like the area of opportunity would be, let's work with the purchase price and see if we can reduce it. Can you guys see the text box? Can somebody type in something in the text box just to make sure it's working there? So I moved it. Can you guys see that? Maybe you can't. Can you see it now? Oops. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this property? Anybody? That's okay if you don't. Okay, so anybody have any questions about anything we covered tonight? Because I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, was that good? Was I? That's amazing. It's all good. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to have questions. I mean, if the main thing I want to make sure is you're getting something out of these sessions. I know we cover some great stuff, but it's really driven by your questions. So if you don't have any questions at this point, that's wonderful. That's fine. I'm going to stop sharing my computer for a second here, and what I'm going to say is a couple things. So next week we're going to present. Hopefully we'll represent Ron's deal. Also, I might get an update on this deal that I just showed you from Sarah, and we're also hopefully, I'll have to look at the time factor in there, but hopefully we're going to also have Tara come back and talk more about creative financing in the way of lenders, how they view lending. Okay. So, any questions before we wrap up? Okay. Oh, wait, just a second there. Someone might have a question. Well, my pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, folks. So, if no questions, if you're good, type in the word yes or Y. Awesome. Okay. Last week's video recording is up on the link for you guys to review. This one will be up by next week. So this is recorded. So I think we learned some things this weekend. Sorry, this Tuesday. I hope that we can work something out with Ron's deal. That'd be wonderful if we can make something like that happen, because it would help a lot of people, specifically the young lady who's in foreclosure. That would be a wonderful deal to complete to help her out. So hopefully we can do that, and Ron will reach out to me, and I'll give you